Hello everyone and welcome back to the SteemTrail Gaming Podcast. Today is the 24th June of 2018. My name is Kralizec and I will be one of your hosts for the evening. The second host is Tygergamer. Hey Tiger, how are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. How about you?
I'm doing fine, to be honest. I just wish it was a bit sunnier here. It's just like, it looks like it's... Normally, this kind of light would be at like 9. Oh, no, like 11 more likely, PM. It's like way before that. But what can you do? That's the weather for you.
Yeah.
So, we are here to talk about video games. So let's jump straight into it. So tell me, Tiger, what games did you get to play this week?
Well, this week, since there was not that many games that came out, I went back and I played some games I have not had a chance to play yet that are in my PS4 library. And one of those games is the 2013 reimagining of Shadow Warrior.
And how did that go?
So far, I've been really enjoying it. It feels like how shooters used to feel back in the old days. And also, there's also a little bit of comedy in there too. So,
I wonder what you mean by how shooters felt, especially since I have no real experience playing shooters on a console. It's just such a foreign concept for me.
Well, pretty much it's just your fast-paced shooter.
Mm.
You carry all the weapons that are in the game. That's what I mean by feels like the games from like the 90s and the early 2000s. Whereas the shooters of today, where you just carry 2 weapons and sometimes it's a lot more slower paced.
Oh yeah, I hate that. That's one of the things I loved about last year's Doom. Just the fact that you have such a huge arsenal and you can swap between guns like on fly, not really caring about the fact that, oh man, I have to get another weapon just because this one isn't good or I don't have any more ammo.
Yeah.
Just swap and you enjoy straight away. That's the best thing.
Yeah.
And
in this game,
talk.
And also in this game, you also get a sword as well, so you can also use sword for melee combat and guns for long range. So there's variety in this game.
That's always fun. But what I wonder is, 2013, man, that's 5 years from now. How does the game stand up on a technical level? Like, that mostly means graphics, but I also mean like how well does it perform compared to today's games?
Well, for me, it's been running pretty well. I don't know how much it runs at, but for me, it's running pretty well. So
that's good to hear, man. And what about the graphics? Do you think they stand like a chance to today's graphics?
Me, I'm not a real graphics person, but yeah, they look decent. It's pretty much your typical corridor shooter where you like go to one area and then move on. It's not like the visuals won't blow you away.
Okay, that sounds actually fun now. Do you think it's a good thing to people to pick up, even though it's such an old game, or would you recommend them sticking to newer games?
I would say if it's on sale, or if you really want to give it a try, you want to play something different, give this game a try.
So
and they also have the second one out too. So
yeah, that's nice when you like finish this one, you can just move straight to the next one.
Yeah.
So I myself have actually looked into something a bit older than just the newest games this week. Not as old as you have. I looked into a game that appeared in the Steam Summer Sale that started this week, and that's a game called Victorum Observer. And it's essentially... have you ever played a game book? Or
I know, but I've heard about them.
So this really reminds me of a game book. So you're playing as this like super powerful mage, and you're just traveling through different islands, and in some there are shops, and some there's like an old lady that needs help, or somebody will give you a quest. But most of the time, they're just battles with NPCs. The game is predicated on one simple fact. The point of the game is just to make you feel like an absolute beast of a mage. And it does that really, really well. It has an interesting concept where you can imbue your spells with 3 different runes, and you can swap your runes in between missions. So, you know, you can have like a rune that just makes the spell fly faster, so it's easier to hit stuff. But you also have runes that, for example, turn the spell into a stationary turret, essentially. And
oh, wow.
So it's super cool and gives you lots of flexibility. The game does have its problems. For one, it looks awful in today's standards, and it looked awful last year. But that's mainly because the game was obviously created by just, you know, few people who really enjoyed like making a game, and they had a cool idea. It would be cool to see them have a bigger budget and maybe, you know, get story going on that wouldn't just be really crap. The story is really crap. The graphics would you love some improvement. What's an interesting thing that every building in the game is destructible. That's pretty interesting.
Oh, wow.
What I found weird about that, though, is the fact that even the weakest spell destroys the building. You know, you like craft this incredible fireball that destroys like 50 enemies at once. You know, you would expect that to wreck a building, but then you have a frostbolt, you fire it at a building, the building just explodes. So I think I would classify this game by just saying it's complete jank. Not junk, but jank. It's like, you know, sometimes you're just feeling, I want to do something silly today.
Yeah.
That's the time where you load up Victorum. You just create an absurdly powerful mage. So there was this one battle that I died in, and, you know, it gives you an option to restart it. So I took a different approach to it. I just built like 200 turrets around me that each, you know, shoot a lightning bolt from the sky, essentially one-hitting everything but the strongest monsters. And casting one takes about half your mana bar, but they don't disappear until they fired. So I just stuck in the beginning area for like 10 minutes and just build 1, 2, 3, and I just kept building these turrets, and I had like, there was literally a field of turrets there. Then I went in closer to the mobs, aggroed them, and just went back to my turrets, and I stood there. You know, and as we were coming closer, there was the first turret fired. 12 mobs died. Second, I was standing there, and the turrets were doing the job for me. I was like, okay, this is really, really overpowered. But it was super fun. It's like, yeah, if you just want to have fun, you don't care about mechanics being, you know, not absurd.
Yeah.
This is completely fun, and the game is available for just $10, so that's why I picked it up.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
It's not a game, you know, when you want to play competitive or you want a really a hard challenge.
Yeah.
It's just, you want to be the most powerful mage in the world? You get that.
Mm-hmm.
So, what else did you get to play this week?
I also got to play. Also played some Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands.
I think I played an open beta for that. I wasn't really impressed by it much at that point. How is it doing that? How is it doing now?
For me, I've been enjoying it. I've only played about a few hours of it, but yeah, so far I've been enjoying it.
In what ways?
Well, for one thing, this is my first time ever playing a Ghost Recon game, and for me, the best comparison I can give to it is me and my brother. We grew up with these games on the PS2 called SOCOM. And the best way I can describe Wildlands is an open world SOCOM, where you can like, if you're not playing online, you can like give orders to your squad. You can tell them to shoot enemies for you, all that stuff, regroup, all that. Just like in SOCOM, we can like give commands to your teammates as well.
I've never been a fan of. I was just saying I was never really a big fan of like tactical shooters. With one notable exception, have you ever played any of the SWAT games?
No, I have not, but I've heard of them.
Yeah, I used to play actually competitively. That's like a big thing for me, you know. I played SWAT 4 competitively, and we were actually for a while, for like 3 months, we were the 3rd team in Europe.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that was I was like 15 maybe. Oh man, when did SWAT 4 come out actually? Let me find that out. Yeah, 2005. Yeah, I was 15, maybe 16.
Dang.
That's 13 years ago, man. But I didn't enjoy the single player of that either. I enjoyed it because I was straight away playing online. And that was super fun because, you know, the point wasn't to kill your enemies. Oh, you could kill them, but you got 1 point for a kill and 5 points if you arrested the other group.
Yeah.
So it was all about just arresting them. And that was super fun, you know, like tasers and pepper spray. And what's the gun called that shoots little pieces of gun that like stun you? What's it called? You know what I mean, though.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I forget what it's called.
I'm pretty sure in the game it was like a grenade launcher. Actually, it shot like tennis balls of gum. It was insane. It was super overpowered. Yeah, sadly the game doesn't really anymore have like a big presence. I would love to see like a SWAT 5 come to the market. I think it could be a good esports game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sadly I would suck at it probably these days. Yeah, the reaction times aren't as good as they used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, shoot, back when SOCOM came out, that was actually like that was actually like the first game that both me and my brother we played online. So.
Yeah, I think I still play that on dial-up, or at the most on ADSL. Like, yeah, my parents, they have shitty internet, and they always had shitty internet. So, you know, I remember playing with. I have 117 milliseconds ping. That's awesome. I would probably like. That's the point where Rocket League these days tells me you're starting to disconnect. But back to Wildlands. Did you get to play it with a group of friends, or did you play only solo?
So far I've only played solo. So I might just jump into a random group whenever I have a chance. Just see what it's like. Yeah,
I would like to hear like how does it function, because I also tried open beta for like 2 hours. I just didn't like it much. And I also only played like single. Thus, that's why I'm actually asking about the online experience. I think that's probably going to be much better, though.
Possibly.
So, the second game I got to play this week is actually another open beta. I played about 5 to 6 hours of the open beta for The Crew. And man, I was severely disappointed. By that time, I actually made a like half-hour video about it. So if anybody's interested, like more details. But let me start with the positives. The driving is actually pretty fun, but only if you're going into a street race. And there are 3 additional modes which are boring as fuck. So you have the boat racing, which was essentially just point your ship into the direction of the checkpoint and hold forward, because there's nothing to avoid on the sea. Occasionally use nitro and hope for the best. Then there was flying, which could have probably been fun, except it had just dumbass controls, at least on the keyboard. On the gamepad, it was somewhat okay, but on keyboard, it just made zero sense. So, to give you an example, there was Q and A to swivel right and left. That's fine, that makes sort of sense. And you have right shift and right control to turn your plane up and down. And then WASD for just controlling the normal movements. But who the fuck came out with turning your plane up and down on right control and shift? That made no fucking sense. And on top of that, it was fairly boring. It was just like, do a few tricks. And you were like, okay, I will do a loop. I will hold shift for a moment. Do a backwards flip. Okay, I will hold control for a moment. There was no excitement in it at all. And then there was the rally mode, which I don't think the devs actually thought through. Because in the race, I actually have in the video, I managed to beat the timer in a 3-minute race by 50 seconds.
Dang.
Because, normally rally is about driving on the road in really tight corners, like driving in the countryside. And
yeah.
I think that's what the developers intended you to do, just drive on these really jank-ass roads. I said, fuck it, I just pointed my car at a checkpoint and drove. Because there you can drive off the track. And that saved me a shit ton of time. And made, the mode like a joke, almost. So again, the only fun part there was street racing. The second thing I don't like about the game is it looked like shit. For a $60 release, I would say, if you told me the game was released in 2010, I would believe you. The car models themselves were okayish, even though they need a bit of work. But the world, I think, you remember the Need for Speed Most Wanted, the old one?
Sure do.
I think the world looked better in that. Like, low quality textures, nothing looked great. So that sucked. That sucked a lot. But the worst part for me, as a PC gamer, were the keybinds. They made zero fucking sense. So, give me a guess for what would you think would be a button on a keyboard to go into the menu? On average.
I'd say if you want to pause the game, it would be P.
It's F10.
F10?
Yeah.
Wow.
That I would have I was like, P, escape, backspace? So I just kept randomly pushing my buttons on the keyboard until I figure out it's F10. And that's for like the main menu. Then there's this little other menu that allows you to either restart the race or to quit into like the very main menu, like, where you're quit the game, etc., or to quit the game. Guess what button that is on?
What is it?
It's B.
B?
Yeah. What's the sense behind that? The guy who made the keybinds for this game, I hope he gets his ass whipped. Literally.
I'm gonna ask you this. Are you able to remap the keys or not?
You are, but, like, the problem is to get to remapping, you just need to figure out which button takes you to the fucking menu.
Yeah, true.
And unless you, like, straight from the bat, go, like, okay, I'm in the game, here's the options menu, which you can navigate by mouse, And you literally, the first thing you do is go into the keybinds and rebind everything. You will just not figure it out. And there was one more really just thing that pissed me off. Whenever you got to a start of the race, for like 10 seconds, you were forced to drive slowly. Like, why? I want to race. I don't want to drive at 5 miles per hour. And it was just... Things like these really took the pleasure out of the game. So, and for $60, no way, Jose.
Well, keep in mind, you're playing the beta, so...
Well, but the full game releases in 5 days.
Yeah, true.
What can... I'm hoping that at least somebody will take a look at the fucking keybinds. That's something they can do fairly easily. But they cannot change, like, the whole... The only thing I'm, like, wondering is... Did they purposely lower the graphics quality in the beta? But why would they do that? Especially if it's so close to release.
I do not know.
So, I was pretty pissed about that. In general, I would say avoid this. Just wait for Forza Horizon. It will be probably better. And hopefully someday we will get another good Need for Speed game.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Like, as I said in the video multiple times, I would rather play Need for Speed Underground 2 than this. Okay, so did you get to play anything else than the 2 games?
No, how about you?
Not really. I've been playing a bit of Rocket League. I'm trying to push for Diamond. I'm just 1 division off.
Okay.
So that's, let's go into the news. So let's start with something rather big. Bethesda is suing Warner Brothers because it seems that Warner Brothers' new Westworld mobile game is a blatant ripoff of Fallout Shelter.
Yeah.
And it actually seems that it is.
Yeah.
Because they're not only suing Warner Brothers, they're also suing the developers of the game, which is Behavior Interactive, which is also the studio that worked on Fallout Shelter for Bethesda. And if you just take a quick look at the game, I'm assuming most of you are familiar with Fallout Shelter.
Yeah.
Just Google Westworld mobile game, go into images, and you will see, yeah, this is just reskin of Fallout Shelter.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
And the most, like, obvious thing that tells me this is actually just a ripoff is the fact that a bug that was in Fallout Shelter in one of the earlier versions also appears in Westworld. Yeah. Thus, the claim of Bethesda is the unlawful use of Fallout Shelter's design, gameplay, and copyrighted computer or source code allowed Behavior and Warner Brothers to develop a mobile game with features and gameplay highly similar to those in Fallout Shelter. And they're essentially saying that they used it to save time and save money. And yeah, it does seem like that is the case.
Yeah, it does.
So, what's your opinion on this? Do you think we will actually see like this go fully through the court system, or just Warner Brothers settle?
Either or, because I mean, shoot, yeah, this is a blatant ripoff of Fallout Shelter. So looking at the game, yeah, they straight up copied Fallout Shelter in this game.
The thing that like baffles me the most is the fact that Behavior didn't say no. Because who will trust them from this point on with co-developing a game? Who? Which big-ass publisher will say, yeah, sure, we will let you work on our next game because you stole from the previous game you worked on? So, I'm going to say Behavior Interactive is probably dead at the moment. Like,
yeah,
nobody will want to work with them. And unless they have some of their own projects, and even for those, I think they will have a hard time getting publishers, etc., etc.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, this sucks for both Warner Brothers and for behavior. My personal guess is that Warner Brothers will just settle. They say, you know, we fucked up. Here's $100 billion and enjoy, or other sum.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. How did they think this will fly? I don't know. So let's move on to the second topic for today. So I wonder, have you been playing Mario Odyssey on your Switch? Like, recently?
Not recently, no. I've been playing other stuff, so.
So, because recently, porn has been appearing in Super Mario Odyssey on the Switch. So it seems hackers have found some sort of hack to allow them to upload their own custom avatars. And for the most part, it seems that they are using their own dick pics. Which on one hand, yes, is hilarious. I agree. On the other hand, this is actually, I think, quite a problem for Nintendo.
Yeah.
So, I wonder, do you know what the age range is on Super Mario Odyssey? Is it like 6+ or something like that?
Yeah, it's around 6+.
Can you imagine your 6-year-old kid coming to you and like saying, "Daddy, what is this picture?" And it would just be a dick.
I'll say, well, my response to that would be, well, that's a penis, son. That's what it is.
So, this came in on a Nintendo Switch subreddit post created by Evasion, and he titled, "PSA, Parents, Disable Online on Your Children's Nintendo Switch."
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because of the balloon hunting minion that they added to the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, in that, you actually see other people's avatars.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, now that I can see becoming a huge problem for Nintendo.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. So, you know, because normally you're limited to the few Nintendo characters and some of the Miis. But
yeah,
just seeing a dick or vagina or boobs or anything of the sorts is not ideal, to say the least. Yeah, it is. How exactly would you approach this, like, from a PR point of view, if you were, like, a PR guy at Nintendo?
Well, I would say, we screwed up allowing hackers to be able to do this, but also these hackers need to be reprimanded for showing inappropriate content.
So one of the things a lot of people are complaining on the Reddit thread is the fact that it's really hard to report people on Switch. Like, the reporting function is just bad. I don't know from my experience. How exactly does it work there?
Honestly, I do not know. I didn't realize that there was a reporting function on Switch. That's how bad it is.
Because you know when you're playing online, I'm quite used to just reporting people for being toxic, to be honest. Especially in Rocket League, it's like, yeah, you were a jerk, so let me report you. So hopefully Nintendo can get their shit together, fix this as soon as possible. just amazing on one hand. Yeah, let's stick with Nintendo for a moment, but this time we have positive news and we'll add Microsoft to the mix. So last week, a commercial for the new Minecraft crossplay between the Switch and the Xbox appeared. And, well, Sony has been left out. Deservedly so, if I may say so.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I loved this. This is like the best way to, you know, poke at Sony for being jerks when it comes to crossplay.
Yeah.
This sort of comes in, I think actually this comes in as part revenge for last week's story about Sony not allowing people to use their linked accounts in Fortnite and on other consoles. I'm not completely sure if this like total revenge or if it's just like blind luck that the ad managed to come out at exactly this time. But I still find it hilarious.
Yeah, I do too.
And you know, actually, I read a statement last week from the creators of Rocket League saying that they have, on a technical level, crossplay between all platforms ready with the PlayStation. Just Sony is not allowing them to implement it. So, you know, if they implement it, we could play together Rocket League, and I would kick your ass. But because Sony are being jerks, no.
What? Wait, though. Actually, since you're a PC player and I'm a console player, we would still be able to play together. We just can't cross-play with people on Switch and Xbox.
Yeah, but we cannot group together. We would have to be, like, put into the game by blind luck together. And they said, we have everything ready. Just Sony is not allowing us to put it in. Sony. When will you learn?
Yeah. Yeah, really.
Okay, let's go into something a bit more depressing. This time on my side of things, on PCs. So, last week it was discovered that, well, a quite decent number of games have included with the installation what can't really be called anything else than spyware. Technically, it's called an ad campaign tracker by the name of Red Shell. Yeah, it is actually called after Red Shell from Mario. But what it does is it tracks users' activity outside of the game, which is fucking bad. And some high-profile games have been caught doing this. The Elder Scrolls Online, Conan Exile, Civilization 6, a few others as well. Man, that's just... there are a few good things about it. Like, Red Shell said they are not selling the data to any third parties. I would fucking hope so. You can easily check whether any of the games that you are playing do use this thing by installing a firewall and checking for the few different servers where the data would be sent. If you just Google Red Shell Reddit, you will find an article that explains how exactly to do that. It has a list of games that have been confirmed to have it. Luckily, most of the devs and publishers have come out and said, oh, fuck, this was wrong from us, we're removing this. But I'm more pissed that they even tried. I understand why they tried. You know, it's vital information for them. But man, did you really think this wouldn't eventually get caught? So
yeah, developers right now especially right now in this day and age, they're trying to see what they can and cannot get away with.
Mm-hmm. So
this is a community we gotta keep them in check.
Yeah, this is one of the few benefits of consoles. Like, you can have a console for playing games and a computer for everything else. So the devs just don't have a chance to track you. On the other hand, Sony has so much information about you. It's probably unbelievable, especially if you use like Netflix through the PlayStation or browse the internet through there. They're 100% collecting all that information. And so it's like...
Same goes for Microsoft as well.
Yeah, obviously. And I'm 100% sure that even though they would never say it's true, there will be like slight tracking mechanisms in Windows itself, sending data to Microsoft. Maybe not about like the websites you visited or anything else, but like how long did you spend using a game, how long did you spend using a browser, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And Google is the king of this. We all know that. That's how they make their money, actually. And Facebook, obviously. And here I want to stress out one thing. People, be careful with any personal information you divulge on the internet. You can't even imagine how valuable that stuff is. People underestimate it by such a large margin, especially if they aren't like tech people. People just don't understand. Like, even so, I was actually recently reading an interview with a guy who developed a password manager type of software. And he was talking about the fact that, you know, most people, when they're creating a password, they will use something familiar. Let's say the name of their dog. Or, you know, the name of their child or something like that. And we just freely give this information away on our social media. So imagine if you're just, you know, you snap a picture of your dog and then you post it on Facebook and you say, hang out with my best buddy Rex. And suddenly they know that your dog name is Rex, and most people are dumb and they use these dumbass passwords. Well, maybe you used Rex and you posted that information online. Suddenly, everybody knows what your password is.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, or at least the way I use passwords is, I have a few sentences to be correct, that I use for passwords. But I don't use the sentence, you know, just writing out the whole sentence. That would be ridiculous. But I use the first words in this, the first letters in each word of the sentence. So, I don't know, let me give an example. Let's say the password would be John. So, you know, I would put John with a capital because that's the name. To the etc. etc. The 12th street I would actually write in numbers, so I have numbers in there. And that's a good way to create relatively secure passwords that aren't hard to remember, because you just remembering a sentence is much easier than remembering like JTTM12TBF. You know, that's super hard to remember. But if you remember the sentence, that's, you know, just don't divulge the sentence anywhere online, and you should be relatively safe.
Yeah. Or at least make sure your password has a combination of both caps, lowercase, numbers, and symbols.
Yeah. I wonder what will happen to password security. Well, I'm saying that I'm somewhat scared of what will happen to security in computers in general once quantum computers become a thing.
Yeah.
That will be a scary period to live in.
Oh yeah.
And since we are on the blockchain, and you know that relies on cryptographic algorithms that will be a scary day for the blockchain. Because there is a chance that the computers that will be quantum-based will be able to crack the crypto algorithms and just take over everything. Hopefully somebody will also come up with algorithms for the quantum computers that work similarly. And who knows? It's still decades away from like public use. But don't tell me the American army doesn't have at least a few quantum computers at our disposal.
Most definitely.
Okay, let's move on to... Well, we're slowly getting to the end. Let's talk about GameSpot for a moment. This is a bigger topic. Oh, GameStop, sorry. This is a bigger topic for you than me, as GameStop doesn't exist here. But there have been rumors that GameStop is maybe in talks for buyout.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of that? Do you think GameStop will get bought?
A strong possibility, considering that their sales have been going down, and not to mention their most recent CEO was only there for like 3 months.
So to give you an almost view of how bad GameStop is doing in the past years. So in 2007, their market capitalization was $9.5 billion. Right now, it's around $1.4 billion. In 10 years, they went 90% down. That's pretty bonkers. Do you think it would be good for them to get bought out? Or do you think it's just like somebody wants to get the name and use it for something?
Possibly. We'll find out when if they do get bought out or not. But me personally, if they do use the name for something else, it's been nice knowing you, GameStop. That's where I bought all my games from up until 2015. So.
Yeah, sadly, probably GameStop is a dying business for the moment. Unless they figure out something genius to do, but I don't see anything they could really do.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're on our second to last topic for news today. Let's talk about dolls for a moment. So maybe some of you Americans have heard of this company called American Girl, which has recently gave us a new type of doll, which is the gamer doll. And it comes in with quite a few cool accessories, actually. It comes with a fully equipped Xbox gaming set. It comes with the console, which can actually project. Like, there's a tiny projector, a few gaming scenes that can project on the wall. It comes with a controller, obviously. It comes with a leather chair, which actually has a built-in speaker, which you can really use to play music, or let's say from your phone or something. And then it comes with headphones, which are orange because that seems to be a popular color for gaming accessory. I don't know why. And it comes with 10 different games, which you can actually put into the game, into the Xbox, and those are the images that get projected on the wall. It is quite pricey. The doll costs $50. But to be honest, I haven't been doll shopping for a long time, ever since my sister was really small. $50, if I remember, doesn't seem that absurd of a price for a good quality doll.
Yeah.
And some people might maybe be thinking right now, oh, this is the leftist here. Like let's fuck the leftists. Don't buy this. Fuck you. It's a doll for kids, and anything that brings a new generation of gamers to be, that's a good thing. I don't give a crap that the gamers are girls, women, men, boys, dogs, aliens, demons, angels. I really don't give a fuck. As long as they're fun to play with, I will play with them.
Yeah, same here.
So, American Girl, you go here. You did a good thing here.
Yeah.
And lastly, it's time for the weekly Fortnite Corner. I can't wait for the time where Fortnite will not be a thing anymore.
Yeah, really.
But this time it's actually big news. So Epic has filed a lawsuit against Thomas Hanna, who was a quality assurance contractor, which means beta tester, and they blame him for leak of information about the Fortnite's Season 4 meteor strike. So they're essentially blaming him for giving the information to one of his friends, and the fact that his friend then posted the information on Reddit. And from what I see, it's really hard to argue that he didn't screw up and he did give the information to his friend, who then posted it online. But I actually, for once, I took the time and I read the papers for the lawsuit. And there are a few interesting things in it. More specifically, 2 lines, which I think will make the case much harder to prove. By the way, Mr. Hanna has actually filed a countersuit, a defense saying that no, I didn't do this, and he might win. So in the lawsuit itself, it says there's a ton of information of what exactly they're saying he did, and they're then saying, wherefore, based on the foregoing, Epic respectfully requests from the court. And they want the judgment in favor that he breached the NDA, which he obviously did. He shouldn't have disclosed the information to anyone. That find that the defendant misappropriated Epic's trade secrets. Yeah, he obviously did. But then there's the part that is much harder. Find that the defendant conduct was willful, malicious, egregious, and wrongful. And I have a problem with 2 words there. Willful and malicious. Because those words, especially in law talk, mean something very specific. Willful means that he did it, he wanted to do it. And his defense is that, oh no, I was just chatting with my friend, and I really didn't mean to do it, willfully. I didn't mean to have a leak happen. I just didn't realize that he was a jerk and he's going to post it online. And then there's the word malicious, which means that he did it with intentions of harming Epic.
Yeah.
And that, unless they have some email proof or something like that, will be really hard to prove. And there's one more line which essentially says the same thing. Find that the defendant unlawfully conspired with DeMarco, which is the guy who leaked it, to disclose Epic's trade secrets and confidential information. And again, here the word conspired. Now, that's not like he chatted with someone and accidentally just released the information. This means, again, he did it intentionally. And that will be really hard to prove.
Yeah.
What do you think of this?
I think, well, first off, it seems like Epic will have a hard case here. But also, one thing I just realized is there's quite a few lawsuits going on right now in the gaming industry.
Yeah.
That's just something that just popped up. I was like, who's gonna get sued next?
Well, probably we. I know. It's just like, you know, this isn't. If they just said he breached contract or the NDA by leaking the information, I would say, yeah, definitely he did that, and 100% he's going to get fucked over. But because they put in these few words, that complicates things very much. Yeah, this is actually going to be. This is going to be quite the lawsuit, and I'm actually really interested in how it will pan out. Though it will probably take some time before we actually get some information about how it pans out. Okay, and that's it for the news today. Unless you have something you would like to add.
No. We pretty much covered all the major stuff that happened this past week.
Okay, then it is time for gaming recommendations for next week. Let's begin with something I just cannot wait for, and that is Captain Spirit.
Yes.
So this game, which was first presented to us at E3 actually, this was a big surprise for me. It's from Square Enix, and it looks fucking amazing.
Yes, it does.
It's a free-to-play game, which is coming out in just about 2 days. And it's about a little boy who has the most awesome of the powers any human can have. The power of imagination.
That's right.
And he imagines he's a superhero, and you will essentially go on an adventure with him. I really want to show this game to my girlfriend, because I think... Well, my girlfriend, she's not like anti-gaming. But when I tell her, I really want to raise our child to become a gamer. That sounds wrong, I know. This is a game I think could show her that games can teach children good things. And I hope it's done well. I really do. I'm definitely going to check this out, especially since it's free to play. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, and also not to mention, this will actually tie in to Life is Strange 2, so...
Yeah, I will not be playing that. I don't enjoy Life is Strange, but this one looks totally up my alley. I might do a Let's Play of this, to be honest.
Go for it.
And it's coming to Steam, Xbox One, PlayStation 4. Sadly, it's not coming to the Switch, even though it looks like a perfect game for a Switch.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Okay, what about you? What do you have to recommend?
The game I get recommended for this week is Nier Automata, Let's Become as Gods edition for Xbox One. It's finally come to Xbox, and this game, if you have not if you want to play a hack and slash game with also some fourth wall breaking, I highly recommend this game if you have not played it yet. If you're an Xbox player, and if you have the money, go pick this game up. Unfortunately, it's a $60 game, so. Yeah,
it's even a $60 game on the PC. Even though the Steam sale is going on, it's still $60. It didn't get a sale.
It did last year.
Yeah, this year they said no, I guess. But yeah, if you like hard games, if you like anything that resembles Dark Souls, you should also go for this.
Well, it's not like Dark Souls. It's not really that hard.
You know, it's sort of in the same spirit.
Somewhat.
Yeah. Okay, I have one more recommendation, and this is for a more, what would you call it, indie game, I guess. It's called Greedy Dungeons. And it's a game which is a roguelite, but it's quite different. The point is, you're just a thief in the dungeon, and you're just running around trying to get as much loot without dying. You don't do any combat, actually. You don't have a weapon, you don't have any magical abilities. It's just about avoiding all the enemies with as much loot as you can. It looks freaking awesome. It's actually going to be free to play, I think, as well. Let me quickly check. Greedy Dungeons. Yeah, it says free, and it's coming on the 29th. So give it a try. It could be fun.
Yeah.
I think it will be more fun, like, for an hour. It probably won't be something you will be playing over and over and over again, because it's really reliant on that one single gimmick. But
yeah.
On the other hand, it's free. Who gives a fuck?
That's right. Free's the best price.
And that is it for the gaming recommendations, unless you have something you would like to recommend as well?
No, that's it.
And thus, it is slowly time to bring the show to an end. And as is the tradition, let's do a bit of shilling. Do you want to go first?
Yes, let's. Yeah, you can find me on YouTube as Tygergamer and on Steam at Tygergamer.
And you can find me on YouTube as Kralizec Gaming and on Steam at Kralizec.
Yeah.
And with that being said, that's going to be it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's show. We both hope you enjoyed today's show. And if you did, please consider giving us a thumbs up here on YouTube and subscribing to the channel. If you're watching on Steam, maybe you want to give us an upvote and follow the blog. Either way, be sure to leave a comment. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, because the Gaming News series, which is your daily source of daily gaming news, comes back. And with that, see you guys later with more gaming content.
Yeah, have a good one.